Hi, good day. So today we'll be doing January 2023 Mathematics, a Vectors and Matrices question, which is your number 10. Alright, so first let's look at this number 10 part A. Three matrices Q, R, and S are as followed. Q is this, R is this, and S is this. Now before you even start the question, you should write your order of your matrix. And what is your order of a matrix? That is the number of rows multiplied by the number of columns in that matrix. Right? So for this case, we have 1, 2. We have 2 rows multiplied by 2 columns. Right? Same thing for R, 2 rows multiplied by 2 columns. And this one we have 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 rows multiplied by 2 columns. Right? So that's the first thing you should do. Anytime you see a matrices question, write the order of the matrix on top. Right now they said explain why the matrix product of QS is not possible. Now when you see the word not possible, right, the first thing you're supposed to think about is that this means it is non-conformable. Now if multiplication, right, if multiplication is not possible, it means that it is non-conformable. Non-conformable. That's what it means. Multiplication is not possible. It just means it is non-conformable. Now let's go through what do they mean by non-conformable. Right? Let's open this up bigger so we can get that right. Now, non-conformable matrix is when the number of columns, columns in the first matrix, the number of columns in the first matrix and the number of rows in the second matrix are not the same. Right? So first off, let's see how I would do this question, right? So this is what non-conformable or not possible for multiplication means, right? So you're going to say QS. That means Q multiplied by S. So we're going to say Q is equals to 2, negative 1, 4, 3, right? And then they said S is equals to 2, 7, 4, minus 1, minus 8, and 9. Right? Let's hold on. Alright, so that is it. Let me just make this a little bit smaller. Oh, okay. Now let's write the order. We have a 2 multiplied by 2, right? And it's always row by column, guys. Row multiplied by column, row multiplied by column. So this is a 2 by 2, and this is a 3 by 2. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at these matrices. You're going to look at these matrices or matrix orders in this block here, and we can see that they are not the same, so they are not equal to each other. So therefore Q cannot multiply S. Q multiply S is not possible. Now guys, you don't need to do all of this, just write. You don't need to mention non-conformable or anything when you're answering it. Non-conformable is just a term that you should know. When you're answering these questions, you just put it like this. You say Q is not E. You write, draw in a little box. Right? The 2 and the 3 say they are not equal, so therefore Q and S is not possible. Or you write this. That is not possible because the number of columns in the first matrix, which is Q, and the number of rows in the second matrix, which is S, right, are not the same, so they cannot multiply. And that would be the answer for that. Now they said state the order of the matrix product to S by R. So let me draw or write out what is S and what is R. So S is equal to 2, 7, 4 minus 1 minus 8, 9, right? And R is equal to 1, 6 minus 5, 4. All right, so we're going to put this here. Right, then we're going to write the orders. We have, this is a 3 by 2. 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, and 2, 1, 2 columns. And this is a 2 by 2. So what you're going to do is, first you're going to draw this box. Oh, what happened there? You're going to draw your box here. And then your product would be, let's put this in blue, would be your first row in your first matrix multiplied by, multiplied by the second, the number of columns in your second matrices. So basically, this would be a 3 multiplied by 2. So the order in the matrix for the product of SR would be 3 multiplied by 2, right? Okay, so this is a little note. The order of the matrix for the product is obtained by taking the number of rows from the first matrix, which is S, and the number of columns from the second matrix is R. And it's row multiplied by column, so it's a 3 by 2. And that would be your order for the product of S by R. The next part of the question says to calculate the matrix product Q and R. So let us write what Q is equal to and R is equal to. So Q, put this in black, Q is equal to 2 minus 1, 4, 3, and R is equal to 1, 6, minus 5, 4. Right, the first thing we're going to do is write the orders. This is a 2 by 2. This is also a 2 by 2. We can see that they can multiply because these numbers are closest to each other, right? They are equal, so they can multiply, and your product would be 2 rows multiplied by 2 columns, as this 2 by this 2 here, right? And we will put this as, so it's 2 rows, so row 1, row 2, and then 2 columns, column 1, column 2. So this area here would be element row 1 by column 1. This one here would be element row 1 by column 2. This one would be row 2 by column 1. And this one, would be element row 2 by column 1, and then this element would be row 2 by column 2, right? And this would be your answer. Well, not your answer. This is the form in which your answer will be in. You'll have 4 elements like this. We'll have 2 rows and 2 columns, right? So then let's actually multiply it. So we have 2 minus 1, 4, 3, right? And then 1, 6 minus 5, 4. Right, and we're going to multiply it. It's row 1 by column 1, so it's 2, which is in your row, multiplied by column 1, which is 1, plus negative 1 multiplied by negative 5. Right, there's row 1 by column 1, and then we're going to have row 1, by column 2. So it's going to be 2 multiplied by 6 plus negative 1 multiplied by 4. Then the second part is row 2, which is 4 and 3, multiplied by column 1, which is 1 minus 5. So it's 4 multiplied by 1 plus 3 multiplied by negative 5. And then the last element here would be root 2 multiplied by column 2. So it's 4 multiplied by 6 plus 3 multiplied by 4. right? And we have 4 elements here. Now 2 by 1 is 2, a minus and a minus is a plus, so that's plus 5 for your first element. Then your element, row 1 by column 2 is 6 2s are 12 minus 4 plus minus 4, right? Then 4 by 1 is 4 minus 15, and then the next one is 6 4s are 24 plus 12, right? And now let's add it. 2 plus 5 is 7, right? 12 minus 4 is 8. 4 minus 15 is minus 11. And 12 plus 24 is 36. And this here would be my product of Q by R. And this is your answer right here. Okay, so now we're going to do part B, number 10, part B. Given that A is 4 minus 1 minus 7x, determine the value of x when this right here, this here means the determinant of matrix A. And how we find the determinant, right, is let's say M, matrix M is A, B, C, D, right? We know that the determinant of M is A by D, so you're taking A by D minus B by C. What we will do is label this A, B, C, and D, right? And we know that your determinant of matrix A would be A by D, so that's 4 multiplied by X, and then minus B by C, that is minus 1 multiplied by minus 7. So 4 by X is 4X, minus 1 by 7 is 7. And they said this is equal to 5. So we know that 4X minus 7 is equals to 5. So you're going to make X a subject because they want the value of X. You carry across negative 7, it's going to turn to positive 7. So 4X is equals to 5 plus 7. So 4X is equals to 12. Then we carry across, multiply by 4, and the opposite of multiply by 4 is divide. So it's 12 divided by 4. So now X is equals to 3, and that would be your answer for this question. Now we're going to do the next part, which is D, which is a vectors question. In the diagram below, OPQ, so they said OPQ is a triangle, right? And then ARB is a straight line, and AOQ is a next straight line. Now B is the midpoint of PQ. That just means that B is halfway or in the middle of P and Q. R is the midpoint of AB, so this line AB, R is in the middle of it. And then they said OR to RP is a 1 to 3. So this is one part, which is equals to O to R is one part, and R to P is 3 parts. So the total number of parts here from O to P would be 4 parts. Right, and then they told you OP, so the same thing is 4A, and then OQ is 8B. OQ is 8B. Right? So this is D part 1. They said find in terms A and or B. It's in its simplest form. Remember, simplest form, right? PQ. So what you can do, there are 2 ways to do these questions. You can use a diagram. So they said PQ, so we're going from P to O and then O to Q. That would be literally my equation that I'm going to use. So this is equals to P to O plus O to Q. Right? And they will be going in this direction to find PQ. Right? P is a starting point, R is the ending point, O would be your points in common. Now, they already told us that OP is equals to 4A. However, we want PO. Now, if we know anything about vectors, we now know that PO is going in the opposite direction of OP. So PO is the inverse of OP. Therefore, PO would be equal to OP multiplied by -1. We know that OP is 4A, so it's 4A multiplied by -1. So OP is equals to -4A. You just put that there, -4A. Plus OQ. They already told us what OQ is, which is equal to, so OQ is equals to 8B. So 8B. Now they said in the simplest form, so this is the answer, -4A plus 8B. So let's just rearrange it. So 8B minus 4A. This is not the simplest form because we have 8 and 4, which they have in common. So if we look at it, we'll factorize it. We ask ourselves, what does 8 and 4 have in common? They have 4. So 4 multiplied by what would give you 8B? 4 multiplied by 2 is 8, and then there's B. And minus 4 multiplied by what would give you 4A? You'd have a minus here. And that would be your answer for the first part, right? 4 open bracket 2B minus A. Right? And then we're going to go down to the second part. They ask you for PR. Now, I already kind of answered PR by writing this. We already see that PRP, right, is 3 parts. This total of OP is 4 parts. Now, we can see 4 parts is 4A. So it is safe to say that R to P, remember they are going in this direction, R to P is actually 3A. And we already said, if they are going in opposite directions, we know that RP is equals to 3A, right? Now, if this is equals to 3A, we want PR. Now, PR is actually going in the opposite direction of RP. So what do we have to do? We can either say they are going in the opposite direction or they are the inverse. So PR would be equals to 3A, which is RP, multiplied by -1, which is -3A. And that would be your answer for part 2. All right, now let's look at part 3. All right, part 3, RB. Now we're going to use our diagram like we did before. The diagram said RB. So we want this. So we could either say, well, RB, we're starting with R. So R to P and P to B. Right, let us write this down. RB would be equals to R to P plus P to B. Now, we already know what is RP from the question above. That is, let's write this down. RP is equals to 3A. Right, and then PB. Now, PB is equal to, let's look at this, what they said on the Venn diagram. I said it before in the video. PB is half of PQ because they said B is in the midpoint. So PB would be half of PQ. And did we find out what is PQ? We did. That is this question here. So that's 4 open bracket 2B minus A. Right? So PB is half of PQ. Right? And we are going to write what PQ is equal to. So a half, open bracket, I'll just leave it before I factorize it as 4A plus 8B. Right? So a half by 4A is minus 2A, and a half by 8B is plus 4B. So I know that PB is actually this. So RB would be RP, which is 3A, plus -2A plus 4B. Then we're going to remove our brackets. That's 3A, a plus and a minus. A minus is minus 2A. Plus and a plus is a plus, so that's plus 4B, right? So it's 3A minus 2A is A plus 4B. And that would be your answer for part 3, RB, vector RB. And this is the end of January 2023. I will see you next time.